Hello friends! How is everyone today? I hope you're doing lovely. I have to go to work very soon, so I am a bit blue today, as is the Michigan weather. You can't really tell because natural light, but it is really gloomy outside today here in Michigan. So today I thought we would talk about one of my favorite things to do, and that is reading. It is June. And we are going to talk about all the books that I have read this year, which admittedly is not a lot because I've been in a little bit of a reading slump for honestly a couple years. But the last book and a half that I've read, I've really enjoyed, so I have hope that I am pulling out of that. So these are the books that I've read so far this year. There's only 6 books. Hopefully when I do the second half of this at the end of the year, there will be many more. And in the next year, I hope to do these about once a month. Hopefully I'm reading a lot more then. We shall see. So we are going to go today in the order in which I have read these books. I feel like last year and this year, I wish I would have talked about the books that I read last year because it's just been so much. I feel like last year and this year is the year of books that I am so excited to read, and then they're such a disappointment. Because that happened a lot to me last year. And it's happened a few times this year already too. So let's just get right on into this slightly depressing reading recap. So the first book I read this year was All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven. I was very excited about this book and only slightly let down. This was not as good as I was hoping, but still very good. It's a contemporary young adult fiction, so I was kind of hoping that it would hit me in a place that John Green tends to, and it didn't quite get there, but it was still a very good book. It is about Finch and Violet. Finch kind of attempts suicide frequently, and Violet is kind of in a bad place after the death of her sister. So they meet on the top of the bell tower at their school, and Finch kind of saves Violet, and then from there a friendship is kind of formed, and then they do a school project together. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much. I really like to go into books almost blind. Like when I buy them, I will read the back to know what it's about and know that it's something that I would be interested in. But then when I pick it up, I don't read the back, and I have a horrible memory. So usually I can go in knowing very little details because a lot of the times the back gives away way too much, and I'm just not a fan. Okay. The next book that we read is also one that I was very excited about. I have heard so many good things about this on BookTube. And that is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I do think it is a very good book, just not really my most favorite genre. It is a really good book, and I will probably continue with the series, but I just didn't love it as much as I was hoping to. This is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. It is about this world in which there were 4 Londons, and you could travel between the Londons, but something happened and they kind of closed off one of the Londons. You can't travel between them anymore unless you are Antari, and there's only 2 of those left. This follows one of them named Cal. He runs into this girl named Lila, and they go on an adventure to save the world, basically. I'm so bad at descriptions. This is really good. If you like magic fantasy, this would be a very good book for you to read. I would highly recommend. The next book I read, I was very highly anticipating. I was so excited to read it. I don't know why this premise intrigues me so much, but it does. And if you know a book with a similar premise that you think I should read, let me know in the comments. Anyways, that is Stolen by Lucy Christopher. This book is about a girl who gets kidnapped, and this is kind of a letter to her captor. I was really excited about that premise, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping. Like, it's an okay book. Everyone else seems to love it, but it kind of was flat to me. I felt like it was very anticlimactic. I feel bad saying bad things about books. Like, it wasn't bad and everyone else loves it, so still try it, but it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. Okay, that's where we'll go with that. The next book that I read is The Bermudez Triangle by Maureen Johnson. This book, it is about these three best friends, and they've been inseparable forever and ever and ever. And this is the first summer where one of them is going to be gone, and then some things happen. I don't really want to give away. Like I said, I like to go into things pretty blindly, but some things happen to the two left behind that makes it kind of awkward between the three of them, and it's kind of their story of falling apart and attempting to come back together. I didn't love it, but I liked it. The redeeming factor was the ending. I did really like the ending. That kind of brought it together for me. So yeah, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And it's great. I am so bad at this. You should check it out. Okay, the next one where things started to slightly get better. Once again, I felt like it was kind of anticlimactic. I was waiting for things to happen and things didn't really happen. I should really rate these on a scale, but I'm bad at ratings. I don't like to rate things. When I read it, I didn't really have a lot of expectation as to if I would like it or not. I was hoping to like it, but I wasn't sure if I would. And the premise sounded really interesting to me. So once again, I didn't love it, didn't hate it, I liked it. That is Black and Blue by Anna Quindlen. It is about a woman who gets married right out of high school and lives in an abusive relationship for many, many years, and then she finally decides to leave. This is her and her son leaving and trying to escape the situation and be safe in their new life. But they have to do it without her husband knowing where they are or anything like that, because he will come after them and he will hurt her. And so that's what this is. I was highly unsatisfied with this ending, but you know, it is what it is. It was a pretty good book. I enjoyed it mostly. There was some things that I would have changed, but for the most part, it was really great, and you should check it out. Next, the last book that I read this year so far is the first book that I feel like kind of took me out of the reading slump. Like, I feel like this one kind of got it started. I was like, okay. And then this one, it was wonderful. And the book I'm reading now, I'm really enjoying. So I'm hoping that this is taking me out of it. This book is Love Finds You in Mackinac Island by Melanie Dobson. There's a couple things that were working against this book to begin with. It is a Jesus fiction, and those can be a little cheesy. Also, it is a Jesus series, and those can really be cheesy. But I was really intrigued with the premise of this series because, you know, I'm obsessed with traveling, and they have books in all these different interesting places throughout the United States, and it's kind of like a postcard thing. And so, I don't know, it's really cute, and I thought the premise was really cool, but I wasn't too hopeful because, you know, of all the cheese factor. But I started with this one because Mackinac Island is my favorite place in the entire world. Someday I will live there, and then we will do a series about what it's like to live on Mackinac Island, because Mackinac Island is a little bit of a unique island. There is no cars, so the only way to get around is by horse, by foot, or by bike. They do allow snowmobiles in the winter. It's an island in Michigan, and so during the winter the lake freezes and sometimes you can't get off. Well, you can get off the island because then there's an ice bridge and you can go across that, but like that is scary. And it's kind of a little bit still old-timey. So it's really nice, and it's my favorite place in the entire world, and just expect a lot more Mackinac Island videos in the future. But anyways, so that could be one of the reasons why I really loved this book. And I just really loved the story. It takes place in the very late 1800s. It is about this girl who is just becoming of marrying age, and her family is a more prominent, wealthy family, but they are losing money. So her mother is really trying to marry her off for position and wealth, and she really wants to marry for love. So she kind of has to choose between that. It's just really good. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the references to my favorite place. It just takes me back there and makes me very, very happy. And it's just a really sweet story. There is one thing that happened that I didn't like so much. Like, I wish it would have went the other way, but it's probably more realistic the way that it did go. I really, really liked this. I would highly recommend checking out this book, this series, Mackinac Island. It's the best place in the entire world. Yeah, that's enough about that probably. So anyways, unfortunately, those are all the books that I've read this year because, like I said, I've been in a little bit of a reading slump, but I'm really, really hoping to get out of that the second half of the year and have a ton more books to show you at the end of the year when we do part 2 of this video. So we'll see you then. But anyways, I have to go get ready for work. I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend and a great life. Comment your book recommendations in the comments. Maybe I'll get to them. I have so many freaking books to read. Give this video a like. Oh, also in the comments, tell me what your favorite book you read this year was. Mine so far is this, for sure. Subscribe to see more of my beautiful face every week. Or just because you feel sorry for me. Either way, subscribe. And I'll see you all very, very soon with another video. Okay, I love you so much. Bye!